It's a Hollywood classic, The Walking Dead, A Crazy Scientist, and Frankenstein. It may have been one of the first true horror movies in the United States, though tame by today's standards. The concept of Frankenstein was born 200 years ago, yet Frankenstein lives on in numerous remakes, shows, and comic books. This is believed to be the first solo exhibition about Frankenstein, and just like its main character, it was put together literally piece by piece. Here, visitors can see the Mary Shelley manuscript about a chemist who brought a monster to life. The first edition didn't have Shelley's name on it. The young woman was afraid readers wouldn't like what she wrote. For Shelley, this book was personal and had parallels to her own life.
Her mother died 10 days after she gave birth to her. She knew what it meant to be a child without a mother. She was still in her 20s when she became a widow. In some ways, it's not entirely surprising that she ended up with a story about a monster without a mother. But it's one of the things that she and the creature have in common.
The literature of the early 19th century had Gothic horrors galore, but Shelley's novel was different. It combined horror with science fiction. Mysticism gave way to chemical reactions, surgical operations, and a truly bone-chilling soundtrack.
All agree that Frankenstein is a classic of world literature. But unlike many classics, it can be interpreted, adapted, abridged, parodied in so many different ways. It's infinitely adaptable. And so that's why it's had such a strong and successful career for 200 years.
This Universal Studio poster from 1931 is worth more than any other in Hollywood history. It's valued at more than $600,000. But the head of the museum says Frankenstein's value means much more than money.
And it's a story that talks about science, about mortality, about morality, about kindness and compassion, as well as violence and evil. So the themes are still very present to us.
Morgan Library and Museum Director Colin Bailey suggests before watching the movie, read the original.
It was already 1 a.m. The rain pattered dismally against the window, and my candle was nearly burnt out when, by the glimmer of the half-extinguished light, I saw the dull yellow eye of the creature open. It breathed hard, and a convulsive motion agitated its limbs.
200 years ago, these words breathed life into a monster. Today, hundreds of years later, the story is still very much alive. For Elena Wolf in New York, I'm Anna Rice, VOA News.